If you have been struggling to get sales from your design work or understanding what you really need to do to make money, I have the workshop for you. On September 23rd, I'm hosting my first ever Profitable Designer Workshop. This 1-day, 3-hour workshop is only $97, but I have a discount for all my podcast listeners. Go to carinagardnercourses.com/profit and put in the code podcast for $50 off. I can't wait to see you more profitable. Hey guys, today I'm here with Diane Rooney. You guys may have, if you've been around this podcast for a time or two, you may have heard her on because she is a Design Suite member. Well, she got past her 1-year mark and we invited her onto the team. So she is now our member success coordinator. And I thought I'd bring her on today because as a Design Suite member, she has a ton of insight. And as someone who's been in the program since the very beginning, it's been really fun to see her help me watch this thing grow. So welcome, Diane.
Hi, Carina. Thank you for having me today. This is fun.
This is fun. Okay, so today we are going to do just a quick talk about slumps, and we're going to talk about summer slumps, and we're going to talk about just generally being in a slump. Oh my gosh, generally being in a slump. And this kind of came up because we are in the middle of writing the Design Suite handbook. So we're putting together this handbook to help all of Design Suite know what they need to do and have all their stuff in a physical form. And it's been quite the endeavor. Diane's been working on it longer than me. Like, when did you start working on it?
I think it was at least a couple of months ago, if not 3 months ago, maybe.
Yeah, we kind of had the idea.
Well, we were rolling the idea around, weren't we? So probably a couple of months working on it, but yes. The idea before that.
And so then she started in organizing the courses and the class notes and starting to create cheater sheets. And I was like, I'm not getting to this until the very last second, which, surprise, here I am working on it at the last second, writing all the front of it and trying to get the layout fixed so that Diane can move forward as well. Anyway, so it's surprising because I actually got to the writing part and I wrote a section and Diane was proofing it. And then she messaged me. Our team uses Slack. She messaged me. And I was completely blown away when she left me this message, because it was like the first time I was like, I think we need to teach people to identify when they're in a slump. So will you tell everybody kind of what happened?
Yeah, so I was reading the whole section about slump and it was literally a penny dropping moment. And I thought, oh my goodness, I'm actually in a slump. And it was for a couple of weeks. For me, I'm actually really relaxed and laid back person. I'm easygoing. It takes an awful lot to faze me or get me stressed out. But how it manifests for me is that I realized I was sleeping through my alarm in the mornings. I struggled to get up in the mornings. And when I got up, I still looked like I could do with another 8 hours of sleep. I was so tired. And then when I was sat in front of my iPad or my sketchbook or the computer to do design work, an hour later, I still hadn't done anything.
Oh my gosh. That's like, you guys, if this is you, like if you're hearing this is a big indicator.
Yeah, and I realized, and I was like, oh, you know what, it's probably blank canvas syndrome, you know, how you finish a project and you move on to the next one and you're like, I don't even know where to start. But I realized it was actually more than that, because it went on day after day. And although in the end, I was coming up with some plans and ideas for a next collection and some ideas for in 2 or 3 months' time, I still hadn't actually finished any work. And also I hadn't uploaded to my silhouette store. And for months, I was consistently uploading 10 designs a week. And that was a big alarm bell for me. And it was literally reading that whole section in the handbook. And I realized I'm in a slump. And this is more than just a summer slump for me, because, hey, you know, our sales have dropped. And I think that's another indicator for some people people that will feel quite low about that, you know, what's happening. But you know what, it's the middle of the summer, people are out having a good time, they're not inside buying. So I get that doesn't actually bother me. But the not sleeping or not having enough sleep, even though I have a good 8 hours normally, was a big indicator to me. So yeah.
So good. Okay, so I want to break down a little bit of what you're saying there, because if you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to this on the podcast and you're going through something and you don't even realize it, there's like a lot of psychology going on here. And I'm going to say right now, I am a doctor of design, not psychology, but I have been doing this now for 14 years and I've seen this. I've had several teams of designers. I had a huge team, 15 people on our mini Lou team. We had 5 to 6 people at Cartabella under me. And I've just worked with designers. And this is a real thing. And I think as I wrote a whole page about it, right, in our manual, in our handbook, and realized like, no one's talking about this, not in this way, not as like an indicator of something else. I think people are talking about it like, oh, I'm just having trouble designing, or I'm like struggling putting something on my canvas, or and I'm like, you guys, that's not a slump. If you're just like having like a moment, like a day where you're like, oh, I don't want to design today, I'm not feeling motivated, that's like a mini slump. Let's talk about a true slump. And right now we're seeing it in Design Suite. That's what made me write the thing up, is because I could see it in a lot of our membership. So the slump has to last, to me, it's more than 3 days. Like if you're going through something and you're struggling to design for more than 3 days, you're an official slump. It's like a recession. Like it has to have like quarter earnings have to be down for a certain amount of time for us to be in a recession. Same with a slump. You have to be in it for at least 3 days for you to be in a true slump. Maybe you're in a mini slump right now. You're going to get through it. Do you agree with me, Diane? Have you run into this?
Yeah, this is exactly it. And I think that's why it was so important when I read that I realized this has actually been going on. It's got to be a couple of weeks for me. And also another indicator was for me is that because I'm in the squads and I run the squad groups now in Design Suite, sometimes we have some accountability. And I remember a couple of weeks ago, I said, oh, I'm going to have my Christmas collection done. And then I realized, do you know what? It's 2 weeks and I haven't even started it. You know, other than my initial mood boards and, you know, rough sketches, I haven't even started it. And so I was thinking all those things yesterday and I realized it's more than just a couple of days.
Yeah, it's got to be a little bit. And okay, so first of all, let's talk about signs that you are in a slump right now. Now, some of you are not in a slump right now. I think you need to take a mental note of this for when it does happen. Because guess what? It's not if, it's when. I just don't know a designer who doesn't go through this. So what do you think some of the signs are, Diane?
I think for me, it's when you're sitting there and you just realize that a whole hour's gone by and you haven't done anything, or you can't get into that flow state when you would normally get into that flow state, and that's just not happening no matter how much you try or think about it. And for me personally, it's I can't get enough sleep. You know, normally I wake up really excited, can't wait to get to either my job with you or my design work, excited. That was gone.
Yeah, so it almost sounds like on the verge of depression, right? Yeah. Like it really does. If not, it is depression to some degree, but we just don't see it as much in designers because designers tend to be so happy about being creative and designing that we just don't see the same thing that we see in the general marketplace when it comes to jobs, you know, job feeling like, oh, I feel unmotivated in my job. It's more of this feeling of like, I'm not really creative right now. What's going on? So yeah, I think those are great signs. The other thing that I think tends to be going on, and I know it is for me, is when I personally have some family stuff going on or personally have some cognitive dissonance. Almost always it is followed, or there is during that time period, I'm really struggling to create.
Yeah. So that was exactly it for me. So we are at the moment going through some very, very difficult family stuff. And I assumed that it wasn't affecting me badly or in a way that I thought it would, because again, like I said, I'm really easygoing person. I tend to just muddle through. I'm okay, and it takes a lot before I really get upset or down or anything. But the knock-on effect of that, of following all these weeks of the family trauma that we've been going through, is now I realize why what's happening is happening. And now I know, I feel better about it almost,
right?
Because I have, I have self-imposed deadlines as well. So that was a pressure on me as well, having self-imposed deadlines and not being able to fulfill them. So I was thinking, oh, that's just, oh, I'll do it the next day. And it wasn't happening. So
yeah. I think the self-imposed deadlines are really difficult because you're trying to still structure yourself, but you feel so like out of sorts. You can't get anything done. The crazy thing is I've known about, kind of what's going on with you, but I didn't realize there was like a true slump going on until you told me that. And because you've been so consistent in your job for me. So so it's almost like the imposing of another person's deadlines. You show up to squad meetings, you're talking to the members still, there's still like kind of all of that. But I think when we own our own business, the own business part, which Diane still owns her own design business, that was one of the requirements of her coming onto the team, just like I own my own design business, is that it's hard to do the self-imposed stuff because it just kind of goes to the wayside.
I think as well, for me, being on your team, that was a structure that I could deal with. That has kept me going. So for me, that was a way of escaping. And ordinarily, see, this was another sign. Ordinarily, my design work was that.
Yeah.
So I knew that it was more than just a couple of days, because let's face it, we've all had that. You have a couple of days where you're just like, oh, it's just not happening today. I just can't get into the flow state. That's when I was reading that yesterday and realized this is more than that, because I can't wait to get to my design work. And now and even my days are restructured because of the work I do for you now. My days are slightly more structured, and that's actually been really good for me, because I have my time first thing in the morning, because the time zone difference has really worked well. It works for me. I love it. So
it works for me too, because our team really works early in the morning. We're kind of an early bird team, and Diane does her design work first thing in the day, but because we have a 7-hour difference, she's working for us in the afternoon, evening. So it works out.
It really works well. So again, that was another sign, because the mornings were really difficult, because normally I'm so excited to do it.
Right? The thing I hear in Design Suite often is I wake up in the morning so excited to get to work.
Yeah.
I know that's the way I usually feel as well. I still feel that way, but I'm not doing design work first thing in the morning. But I'm jealous of your schedule. We've talked about this, because I kind of told Diane that I think I went through the slump thing when I started my program, because I suddenly couldn't design the way I wanted to. And I just felt like personally like struggling with that, because I love designing so much. And so my slump was like almost the opposite, but it went on for, I want to say, a month, where I really fought myself. Like, how do I make this happen? How do I still identify as a designer while I'm teaching design? It was like this crazy struggle. And most people are like, why are you struggling with that? Most teachers never design. And I'm like, but that's my identity. So I felt really strongly I still needed to design.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, okay. So if you are going through this right now, first of all, I want you to know you're not alone. Diane, like for real, like seriously, half of Design Suite is dealing with this right now.
Yeah.
And I actually was just thinking we should post this episode. in the community to make sure everybody hears it. I know a lot of you in Design Suite are always listening to the podcast anyway, but I want it normalized. And that's the thing I say in the handbook. This should be normalized. We have certain periods in Design Suite. We know there will be a slump. We also know there's summer slump because it's hard to want to design when you want to be outside in the sunshine. I was just saying on another episode that, and it might come out after this one, I legitimately will in the middle, because I will have like maybe a 2 to 5 minute break to run to the bathroom between meetings because I have so many meetings during the day. I will go to the bathroom and I will go walk outside for 2 minutes and just stand in the sunshine and then walk back in. And that is it, just to keep myself going.
Yeah.
So I think this is a real thing, and summer slump is hard. I actually think there's a Christmas slump as well. Like I think there are lots of people at Christmas time where it feels like I don't want to be designing. I want to be doing all these other things, and it's hard to get motivated. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually know a designer from years ago, and she specifically planned her business so every December she could take off.
Yeah.
Literally, because she struggled every December. And so now she plans her business so in December she can stay at home, do the things she wants to do, whether it's baking and crafts, whatever, without any pressure to actually work. So there's definitely a Christmas slump as well, or a December slump, maybe we should call it. But yeah.
And by the way, if you don't experience any of these slumps, good. Don't then take this and be like, well, I can have a summer slump or I can have a December slump. No. This is like a real, like there's a psychological thing going on with people when they're in these.
And it doesn't feel great either. That's the other thing I would say. But interestingly, since I realized it, I've let it go. So I actually woke up this morning feeling so much better because I don't have that pressure on me. I've recognized what it is. I know what to do to try and fix it. And one of those things is it's okay for me to set my alarm a couple of hours later for a little while. And just actually letting it go was enough to realize, okay, this is going to be okay. And I've gone back to doing planning work as opposed to actual design work, which is now getting me excited for doing the actual design work.
Yeah. So I list in the slump section some things that you can do. I love that you bring up planning because we want to do things that will motivate us to design later when we're in a slump. That's, I think, one of the keys. So we're not going to go through all the things I mentioned in the handbook, but maybe you want to tell everyone, like, what one is your favorite that I listed that you could put into practice here now?
I think letting it go and getting outside, definitely. I mean, especially where we live in the far southwest of England, near beautiful beaches and woodlands. So I think getting out to nature, getting outside is absolutely vital, because not only that, it's inspiring. And I think that kickstarts that creative part of your brain. So for me, that would be it. Yeah.
I just think you can't force creativity. And if you're sitting in front of a blank screen or a blank page, you're trying to force creativity.
Yeah, you are. And it just doesn't work.
I agree. So you have to get yourself in the right mind space. It's so crazy in design, as I've been teaching design, for the longest time, I was just like, I just need to teach everyone Illustrator and skills and how to be fast and make beautiful design work and choose the right colors. And half of it isn't that. Half of it is us in our own mind trying to do the design work and get ourselves there and stay motivated.
Yeah, exactly that.
So crazy. All right, you guys, it's been so fun to have Diane on. Diane is such, we have loved having her on the team. It has been amazing. Diane, do you want to tell everyone where they can find your stuff?
Yes, so I have a website, dianerooney.co.uk, and you can sign up for my newsletter there, my email list, and also on Instagram. There's links there to Instagram and my other social media. So thank you, Carina. It's been fun.
Hey, did you know that you can visit me at makeanddesign.com to learn more about this podcast and join my VIP group for weekly freebies? I can't wait to see you there.